Hi, my name is Emma, and today I will be showing you how to build a workflow. In the Kuali Build home screen, select the app you want to open. Once you open the app, you will see the tabs on the top right-hand side of the screen. Here, select Workflow. In the Workflow page, Add Steps is located on the left side. There are 6 types of steps you can add to the workflow. The Approval step specifies who will be approving the document and what should happen if the document is denied. This step stops the workflow until the approver has either approved or denied the document. The Task step specifies that there is a task that needs to be completed outside of the workflow and who must complete the task. This step stops the workflow, and upon completion of the task, the workflow will continue. The Acknowledge step specifies who needs to acknowledge the document. This step does not stop the workflow. The Notification step sends an email notification to the specified person. The Integration step is when you need to send data from the document to an API integration. The Branch step is used to route the workflow based on certain criteria. We'll talk more about this in a bit. To edit or add to the workflow, select a step in the left-hand Add Steps panel and drag the step to the workflow in the middle panel. As you drag the step over the workflow, a blue rectangle will highlight to show potential locations for the step. The first step must be the form submission, but otherwise steps can go to the left or right of any other step. Drop the step in the location you desire. If you would like to move the step to a different place in the form, click and hold the step to drag and drop it to a new location. Workflow steps may also be copied and pasted by double-clicking on the step, pressing Ctrl-C or Command-C for Mac, then pressing Ctrl-V or Command-V. Once you place the step in the form, the right panel will show configuration options to customize the step. Such configurations include custom email notifications, whether to hide certain sections of the form, and sending email notifications. You can always change the step configurations later. To save your changes, click any blank space in the Preview section to the left of the configuration panel. The information displayed in the step will update. As shown in the configuration panel, some workflow steps require entering specific people. For example, the Approval workflow step requires configuration of who will approve the step. When you select an option from the list, the search field or drop-down below the options will dynamically update. Click in the search field to choose the specific people. You have several options here, including pulling from Fresno State's directories. The Any Specific Person option means you want to choose an individual from the directory. Typing in the search field will filter the drop-down results. The Person or persons in a role of any specific group option means you will choose specific roles from Fresno State's departments. Typing in the search field will filter the drop-down results. The Person or persons in a role of a group or the group's hierarchy on the form or a person specified on the form option require that you have questions in your form that pull users from the system. If you have configured any such form questions, the drop-down in this panel will populate with your relevant form questions. In Kuali Build, you may also need to delete a workflow step. In the middle panel of the workflow, click a step you've added to the workflow. The gadget will be highlighted in gray. At the very bottom of the right panel, click Delete Step. Then, the step will be removed from the workflow. Just an important reminder, workflow steps that are deleted are unrecoverable. There is no undo once the step is deleted. Your workflow can be more complex than a linear series of steps. A branch step splits your workflow into multiple routes based on how a user responds to a question in the form. Based on the defined condition, the route can lead to different workflow steps. For example, depending on what college a student selects on a form, the form can be routed to that specific office. Select the branch step in the left-hand Add Steps panel. Drag the branch step to where you'd like it to occur in the workflow. Once you place the step in the form, the right panel will show configuration options to customize the branch. Branches consist of a default route, Route 1, and as many other routes as you add. The default route is the series of steps that will usually run. Each numbered route has a condition that will cause the series of steps inside it to run. You can create as many branches in your workflow as you need. Under Route 1, click on the Route Here drop-down menu and select from the options available. Then click the drop-down below that. You'll see a list of questions in your form, as well as metadata Kuali Build has collected about the submission. choose the question you'd like Kuali Build to branch on. After you select a question, you'll see a progressive series of drop-down menus. Continue choosing options until the condition is complete. You can also create additional conditions or routes by clicking on the gray plus sign or the blue Add Route button respectively. Once you add a route, you can then add workflow steps inside. As stated before, these steps will only run if the condition is met. In Kuali Build, you can test the entire workflow. This is not a live test, meaning that emails will not be sent, data integrations and changes, such as posting to an API, will be mocked and not actually performed. When you test a workflow, you will impersonate various users to see the workflow as that particular individual. Toggle the switch at the top center of the Workflow Builder screen from Design to Test. On the right side of the screen, the workflow simulator will appear. Click Run Test to begin the simulation. You will see a preview of your form. At the top of the form, click the drop-down next to the current user to select which user you would like to impersonate. The form will update to reflect what that user will see. Fill out the form as you'd like and click Submit in the bottom right. Kuali Build will go through each step in your workflow and display a preview of what will happen. For example, if you had a notification step sending an email, Kuali Build will show you a preview of that email. No part of a test is live and the emails are not actually being sent. To go to the next step in the workflow, click Next in the bottom right. If your workflow contains branches, the test panel will alert you of parallel routes. On a panel for parallel routes, when you click Next, Kuali Build will preview the current route steps based on the route logic. You cannot preview other routes because Kuali Build is accurately testing this form submission. To preview other routes, you must submit a new test form answering the form questions appropriately. When the test has gone through every step in the workflow, following the appropriate branches, the panel will alert you that the workflow is complete. You can click Start Over to perform another test, go back to the previous step by clicking the back button, or toggle to Design at the top center of the window to continue editing the workflow. You can also click View Status Log to see details of what happened to the form at each stage of the workflow. Once your workflow is complete, make sure it is saved before navigating to other parts of the app. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, check out our Kuali Build webpage for more information or to request training.